The last study of the Bad Habits chapter will go back to being a full screen. Why did I say full screen? Full game. Of course this is full screen. But you get all the bloopers in this course as well. Like if I misspeak, sometimes I just laugh at myself and we just keep moving forward. Some courses do some tremendous amounts of editing, but once I get rolling, I prefer to treat this kind of like a free-flowing area of thought. Maybe like a mini stand-up act. Stand-up comedians don't edit things out or correct themselves. This will be a full game, not a full screen. Nothing has changed about your screen. And the game begins with e4. Black responds with d6, either playing a Peer's defense or some other system like the Philidor. Knight f3, g6, and we have a completely normal position after 4 moves. Black now faces this move, bishop g5. So bishop g5 is an aggressive move. The idea could be for white to create a battery with this queen and bishop, trying to come down here and trade this bishop. This is more on this stuff will be available in the piece trades chapter. Maybe black just wants to apply some pressure to the knight. White plays bishop g4, black plays bishop g4. I think I said white plays bishop g4. Whatever you can do, I can do better, right? One of these situations. Now, we have the move h3, and here is already the beginning of moves that make no sense. What is this? This stuff drives me crazy when I analyze viewers' games. Like, you should not go here. Because if you go there, one move thinking, you get trapped. You also get trapped maybe with bishop takes f6, and then g4. But you're lucky you can sneak in this move still. So you have to be careful. But if you go bishop g4, the thought has to go through your head. What happens if they attack me? For example, if black had done the same thing to white, white might have gone back, but at least they don't get trapped. Or they might have taken, or they might have backed up. But, I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're going to back up, if you're not going to g4 with the intention of trading the bishop for the knight, what are you, just castle or something, or attack the bishop, or don't do this. This is very short-sighted thinking. Okay, white plays e5. I don't dislike this move. I like punishing black for bouncing back and forth and immediately playing e5. I also would have liked finishing development. I would have liked bringing out the queen to go here and then try to castle. I don't hate the move e5 at all. Black takes. It's better definitely to take with the pawn here because the black knight has no central movement at all. And now a very difficult situation. Does black go here or here? Now, if black goes knight h5, thinking, well, I just don't want to undevelop, right? In the game, we had undevelopment. This move actually, if you play this move, it's a little bonus quiz for you here. That's a bad move because what would white play? You want to play this move because you don't want to go backwards. Well, white would just go g4 and your knight is trapped anyway. It has absolutely no way of returning back. So this is the way you avoid these mistakes as a newbie. First of all, you don't play bishop g4 and then come back. You try to make progress in the position. But you need to, maybe black got lucky here. Maybe black didn't even realize that the knight was going to get trapped. But it's still a very bad position because after a few moves, you've gone out and back, out and back. You've wasted 4 moves moving a bishop and a knight, and you've only played 8 moves. So half your moves have been spent coming out and coming back. Very bad. White plays bishop c4. Another piece out now for white. That is 4 pieces out. And black once again plays a bad move. What black should be doing here is trying desperately to catch up in development. Get the knight out. Attack the center so that way you can get this knight out. At a very least, try to kick out this bishop so you can at least get some development going. But this has to be played. Black here plays a move that again doesn't develop anything and is a very short-sighted move. Black plays f6. The idea of f6 is that if white takes, black is going to get a piece into the game. First of all, white does not have to take the pawn. This is another thing you folks have to remember. Nobody needs to go here. If white really wants, white can just back up. You're still in your own way, and when you play f6, you open this diagonal, so now castling is almost impossible. So the person playing with white here doesn't actually have to do anything. Not to mention, white has a move here that can threaten checkmate. Just hidden in this position. White can play the move queen d5. I'm not saying it's the best move, but notice what happens when you play such passive chess in the early going. You take the bishop, there's checkmate in one. I mean, just to show you, the position is almost totally hopeless here for black because black spent a bunch of time in the opening bouncing back and forth. Now, what does white do? White takes, because white is not a super strong player. Still not a bad decision. What should black do now? Black needs to seize control of the game. If I'm playing black here, I may highly consider this move. If white spends a moment here moving the bishop backwards, that's all the time I might need. I might be able to get my knight and my queen out like this, like this. I'm not saying you will. A good player will continue to attack. For example, if I go here trying to castle, white should just immediately just hound me for the way I've played this position. Punish the way that black has played this. Make black passively defend everything. But I'm just saying, this move, which was played in the game, doesn't actually pose any problems for white whatsoever, and you still cannot castle because of the weakening of your own position. So you developed poorly and you weakened your king. White plays knight d5. Again, white can bring the queen out. White can castle, try to castle long or short. This move is not necessarily the best move in the world, but it's a very good move. It's a very, very good move. Again, what should black do? Evaluate. Is there a threat? No. This is well protected. What black needs to do now is desperately catch up in the development. A move like bishop c6 might completely change the game. Why? Because let's say we have a trade, and let's say white goes, oh, I'm going to trade the queens, and then backs up. This is a totally different position. Black's king now can just hide, run over here to safety, and the rooks get connected. The knight comes out, maybe the bishop takes, and then the rook and the knight. I mean, black is a few moves away from being totally fine, and there's no queens on the board. So, again, black is just reacting with one move. Black is not thinking, what are the long-term ramifications here? And remember how a move ago I showed you what happens when the queen arrives? Black does something completely crazy here. Black takes the knight. Black has almost no pieces out, is trading their pieces because they see that they can. Queen takes d5 here is devastation. The game is over. Completely lost because you have to deal with this. Let's say you stop that. You have to deal with this. You have to deal with the fact that you can't move any pieces. You can't go here because of this. I mean, white will castle. I mean, the position is just suffocating. I mean, black is suffocating under the pressure here. Now, what does white do? White doesn't play queen takes d5. White plays this. Still not a horrible move, but allows black to get back in the game with the move bishop c6. Again, trades benefit right now black because black has no development at all. You give black a couple of moves, oh, it's check. I apologize. I was going to play an illegal move. There you go. But again, you trade the queens, you trade the bishops, black is fine. Black just needs a couple moves to trade off white's initiative. What does black do instead? Black plays the move bishop takes b2. Ridiculous levels of being unaware of how dangerous this position is. Just using one piece at a time. Best part, white doesn't even need to guard the rook. White can castle. It doesn't even matter if you win this because the pressure on the position is completely fatal. It's completely fatal, not to mention that very quickly white can win the material back. So what happens in the game? White acknowledges the threat. Black plays c6, counter acknowledging that, well, you can take my bishop, but I'm going to take your bishop. White can move the bishop here. White chooses to take, and now play queen takes d5. Black still cannot castle. Black has no development whatsoever. All of black's pieces here are on the verge of just being captured. 4 pieces for white are playing. Black plays the final blunder of the game, which is this. Thinking, they're going to take my queen, I'm going to take their queen. Not thinking at all what happens if that doesn't occur. The queen is under attack. This queen is now under attack, but this queen moves first. A move like queen e5 here just ends the game because the rook is under attack and so is this. Very rudimentary level play here from black. Only thinking one move at a time, not trying to solve complex problems. White lands a devastating knockout. And by the way, black resigns here because they were going to lose the queen. But listen, I mean, it was just made in a couple of moves. So this game was an example of really thinking one move at a time. Not understanding that you don't need to trade absolutely everything in every position. Not understanding how to catch up in development. safeguard your king, trade off your opponent's most powerful pieces, and greedy, just taking pawns on the other side of the board while none of your pieces are out and developed. This is kind of the culmination of all the bad habits in one game, where the other side didn't play perfectly, but played just about perfect enough at this level. So very well done. And this now leads you to the exercises section of this chapter.